I know you've kind of sprinkled a little bit in talking about yoga and meditation and what it can do for you, but what are like one or two of the biggest things that you take from it yourself, or that you hope other people take from yoga and meditation, in the sense of, just for their own peace?
I think the most important piece of it is it leads you back to yourself, because we're so conditioned to please other people. So at some point, as we're growing up, we stop being ourselves. We're just this version that other people have layered, like with their rules and their expectations. So we have like all these layers sitting on top of us that's not revealing truly who we are. And then in order to deal with that fake self that we present to the outer world, we need coping mechanisms such as drugs, alcohol, shopping, gambling, sex, porn, devices, anything, right? Anything to numb out the fact that you're not speaking from a place of truth and you're not acting in a way that's actually how you want to live your life. Like, think of all the people who are in a job that they hate just because their parents wanted them to do it. Or even people, like I see this all the time, people who start families, not because they themselves wanted kids, but they think this is the norm and then they have to follow what everybody else is doing in order to be accepted or to belong. And then this is why so many people end up in divorces and midlife crises, right? Like, so what yoga and meditation did for me was lead me back to myself. So I stopped living a life that wasn't authentic to me. And how that happens is when you learn to sit with yourself, you learn to converse with yourself without wanting to run away anywhere because you're comfortable with yourself. Like, you've learned through being still in a yoga pose that you can do this. And when you show yourself you can do something one time, you're going to build that confidence to repeat it over and over and over again, especially if it feels good. And then the same thing with meditation. At first, it's super uncomfortable because you're like, I know this sucks, like all the voices that are incoming. But then you learn to see those voices as not part of you, but just something that you're witnessing. And when you can differentiate who you are and what your thoughts are, that's where you start to feel really powerful and you start to feel really in control of your life. And when you feel in control of your life, you're unstoppable.
That is the best pitch or selling point I've ever heard for yoga, and meditation. Because I think that's like, I really like that you talked about, just as we grow up, and as you were saying that, I was thinking about that, of, when somebody said something to me and how that would put a new pressure or expectation or something I was supposed to do or a way I was supposed to act, or, especially, then as a male, and growing up in the South, there's some different things. Like, I just remember people made me hate soccer because it was called the foot fairy growing up, because that's, it was football and baseball if you were a guy growing up, and it just adds that to our lives. And I think that's so powerful, of talking about leading back to yourself. And I think that's such a great, I mean, who wouldn't want to do that? Right? Who
Yeah.
who wouldn't want to peel back some of those layers and be authentic, like you just said, be authentic to themselves, um, and just be able to live life without having to feel like you got to do things for other people or present your way for other people.
Mm-hmm.